For subtitles, please click here on your screen.
I was telling Mani sir, there is why no song for Aishwarya Rai? The PS1, the character, Nandini character, oh my God, I think we can't think of anybody else except Aishwarya Rai ma'am. Konjam Kale, that move, the way she does it, she's so beautiful. Rahman sir music will add more of power. We can choreograph little, that's enough, because that the song will take you somewhere else.
Tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning more than 3 decades. Rahman Music Sheets. Hi friends, discover the top take as we uncover the wow factor in this episode. Do watch it till the end to grab this musical moment of the day. In 2022 and 2023, Ponniyin Selvan 1 and Ponniyin Selvan 2 reimagined the grandeur of the Chola Dynasty for a global audience. A vision first immortalized in Kalki Krishnamurthy's legendary novel. Under Mani Ratnam's direction, history did not unfold through battle and politics. It unfolded through music. Across the 2 films, 14 songs and multiple thematic compositions shaped the emotional spine of the saga. Each composition demanded scale, expansive sets, intricate costumes, and a delicate balance between classical authenticity and cinematic spectacle. Nothing could feel modern. Nothing could feel misplaced. Every frame had to breathe the Chola era. For choreographer Brinda Master, this meant translating A.R. Rahman's music into visual language, where rhythm meets movement.
Brinda ma'am, in each song, there was a lot happening on screen. Multiple dance forms, elaborate costumes, sets. How much planning goes into it?
You're telling about the Veera Rajavi, yeah. That song, it was not a choreography first. We suddenly, sir had one day before, Master will choreograph for this. Suddenly he gave a plan. Then with the dances, I have a half a day to choreograph that. And then, see, when I go to the spot in Manisa's shoot, he never gave time. He just said, go shoot. He'll start the shoot at 6:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like that, suddenly we had the king is walking. Then Shobita will see the king, Jayam Ravi. Then how he walks, the rest of the people will dance and bring him forward. We had lot of folk dances from various places. But that time it was Corona. Corona time, it's not at all easy. Testing everybody and bringing to the shoot, it's not at all easy. I think only Mani sir, assistant Shiva can do that. He got so many people with the test. It was a peak Corona time. I think a lot of like 500, 600 folk dancers, everything in the street. It was like in the street when king comes, we all dance and come down. It was so nice. It was very interesting. Everything came out so good. That perfection only comes from Mani sir. Then the arrahman sir music, wow. When we heard, we'll get the goosebumps like Veera, no, that the power of the king when he walks with the elephant and all, it was really, the music gives the power for the choreographers. Whenever I hear Rahman sir music, I'll get the energy because Rahman sir music will add more of power. We can choreograph little, that's enough because the song will take you somewhere else.
You know, it's quite unbelievable. I'm sure you were part of the pre-production planning also to be able to deliver even when Mr. Ratnam demands some sequences without any notice.
Yeah, everything is planned. Because Mani sir have a great team. The homework will be done before. For the boys and girls, everything is wrapped. It's not stitched. The costume is not stitched. The Eka was really great. They'll bring the dancers at 2 o'clock in the early morning. It's a night. 2 o'clock early morning, they bring the dancers, they get ready. 5 o'clock will be the shot ready. That kind of, everything is planned. If it is on spot plan also, the plan B will be always, it will be ready for him. The team is fantastic with it. Because of the great team, we can just think before 1 hour and we can just go for a shoot.
Tell me something. When you have a classical dance form as part of your choreography, so do you take help or advice from experts just to ensure purity of the form? Or in films, you can take liberty with classical dance forms too?
I think film liberty you can see when I do a classical, we can do a semi-classical, not the perfect classical. Because when we do a stage, it had some jatis. Jati will be there. In cinema, not much of jati, and musically it will go. We mix little. Not only Bharatanatyam, we'll mix all the style. Then if it is a belly dance, it will be, that is also, I'll mix little bit the hand. If they're not getting the hip moves, I'll little bit hand. If I'm not expert also, I'll keep my assistants expert. If I'm doing a Kathak song or the classical one, have a good classical dancer or somebody, when I show them, immediately they can do a perfect thing. Then before the song, I do a lot of homework. I see a lot of what I learned and what I'm not learned. I see a lot of belly dance, the real belly dances, how to get the correct style. I do a lot of homework and then only I'll step into that song. Now after 2 days, I'm going for a Odissi dance for a Kalyan Jewellers for Priyadarshan. Now I started, I'm learning now Odissi, how they keep their hands. I'm not an Odissi dancer, but if you know Bharatanatyam, everything, that will help us to do all kind of classical dance. I love to learn, still I'm learning, I love to learn. Then I got the real Odissi dancer, which I'll do the rehearsal perfectly, what I want. Then when I tell the style, they'll bring the more style, because we need a good assistants and good dancers to bring the perfect style.
In PS1 and PS2, you did not get to choreograph Aishwarya Rai. Did you miss working with her?
The main thing, there is no song for in PS1 and 2 for Aishwarya Rai. I was feeling so bad. I was telling Mani sir, why no song for Aishwarya Rai? Ma'am, she's such a great dancer. Why there is no song? I'm feeling so bad. I can't meet her when I'm shooting, but the people will tell, because it's more of period film. It's Tamil, the old Tamil. The way on the spot, she never practiced. She do homework completely. She's such a hardworking person. She come to the spot with completely homework. There is no prompting, nothing in Mani sir's shoot. Then after the shoot, I met her when we had a PS1 celebration. We met in the party. She was so happy. She was introducing to her daughter. She said she's the first choreographer for me, Brinda, and all the way when she introduced me, she's still the same. She never changed. I thought she may change, but she's still the same. She looks so beautiful. The PS1, the character, Nandini character, oh my God, I think we can't think of anybody else except Aishwarya Rai ma'am.
Kandukondein Kandukondein The year 2000, Kandukondein Kandukondein directed by Rajiv Menon. A dream ensemble, Aishwarya Rai, Tabu, Mammootty, Ajit Kumar and Abbas. Shankar Mahadevan won his first national award for Best Male Playback Singer. The film drew inspiration from Sense and Sensibility, published in 1811, the debut novel of English author Jane Austen. In 1995, Columbia Pictures adapted it for the screen. It won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay.
From Jane Austen's timeless classic.
There's some blue sky, let us chase it!
If Sense and Sensibility explored English upper-class restraint and morality, Kandukondein Kandukondein reinterpreted those emotional conflicts through the lens of Brahmin identity within Tamil society. The challenge was to transform English characters and make them compelling for Indian audiences.
That song just had only one day to practice. We just practiced, but Aishwarya Rai came only on the shooting spot because she was a little busy on the spot that time. I still remember in Kerala that there was a bandh. We can't go in the car and all. We went in the early morning. We are there in that place. It was like a farm and every huge place. We shot. Everything is on spot. The way she picked up, I still remember that Konjam Mainakale, that move, the way she does it. She's so beautiful. There is no stop appreciating her, talking about her. She's so beautiful. Even the dancers with the lion face, they all come like a tribal. She had one tribal move. She looks so beautiful. The way she sings, not even one lip sync it will go. She practices everything perfectly, she'll come. When you edit the song, the lip sync will be perfect. She's such a great, hardworking and perfection to the core.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say that she practiced even Tamil songs and dialogues, which is not her language?
Yeah, she practiced everything. She not on spot, she never practiced. She practiced the lip sync perfectly and come to the spot. No need to teach her. When I teach her the moves and all, she'll be perfectly practiced. Even the PS1, PS2 dialogues and all the team will tell. She come with the perfection. Very perfectionist. Because of her, I think it won't go one more or second shot or two shot. When you edit, no, you feel so happy. It will be perfect lip sync. Sometimes when you edit, some lip sync goes, no, we feel so bad how to manage that shot and all. She's very perfect.
You know, while researching for this interview, I found it very difficult to find out the songs that you had choreographed. Even on pages dedicated to films, credits are given to lyricists, of course composers, singers and even musicians, but not to choreographers. Why is that?
Sir, now it's become a lyrical video. Lot of lyrical video before the song, the whole song release. But they're putting the name now, the choreographer. I think now, before it was, nobody knows who is a choreographer. Now at least they know who is a choreographer. Because we choreographer itself, we start putting in Instagram. I've done this song, I've done that song. The people are recognizing nowadays because of the lyrical video. We had all the lyric person, the music editor. Now I think everybody started noticing the choreographer also. I think that is more healthier because before we don't know who is a choreographer. Even in the radio, They'll tell all the names except the choreographer name. I used to feel so bad, radio and TV, because they have some music TV and all. They never tell the choreographer's name. They'll tell the lyrics and music composer. Now after the lyrical video, now it's come. I think they started knowing the choreographers. They're taking a lot of interviews to the choreographers. They're appreciating. I think I'm happy with that. At least now they know the choreographer. Even my kids started knowing, this choreographer name is this. This choreographer has done this. They started knowing this. I'm so happy for that.
1, 2, then 2, ready, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, up, down. When you're doing this, turn that side. Yeah.
Lyrical videos are not made for every song. For example, in VTK, you choreographed Mallipoo. Now, I did not know. I had no idea.
Maybe there is no lyrical video. It was there, I don't know. See, some lyrical video, they'll forget to mention the names. It's okay, sir. I won't miss that. But what you said, they're supposed to put the name, all the choreographers, because so much of hard work will be happening when the song is happening. In the shoot and all, they do lot of hard working, even the dancers and how they make actors dance the best. They'll give so much of energy, because I used to shout, about my volume now, because it was so low, because we used to shout and get the dance best. I think it must be more, they must be recognized more. Because of the nowadays Instagram and everything it started knowing, but it must be more, the choreographers get name more. I think it'll happen. It's already on, it must be more.
Coming up next, an entire song. One single shot, 30 minutes. How? Choreographing Rajinikanth. What does it take to move with Rahman's rhythm? In a family where everyone lives and breathes dance, what's the secret behind the legacy Brinda Master carries? Stories of songs that demanded sweat, moments that demanded blood. Brinda Master returns in the next episode of Rahman Music Sheets. Stay with us.
Before it was, nobody knows who is a choreographer. Now at least they know who is a choreographer. Because we choreographer itself, we start putting in Instagram.
Do you agree that this indeed was the moment of the day? Is your choice different? Whatever your mind says, write it in the comments section below. We will be waiting. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon and stay entertained.